Hey everyone, it's Nadia. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be drawing 62 different headers and banners that you can use as title ideas for your bullet journal or notes. And these banners and headers are really great for any beginners because it doesn't require any fancy calligraphy or hand lettering. I included a little bit of cursive just so you could see how it can look when we use two different types of fonts, but feel free to use any handwriting style that feels comfortable for you. We're mainly gonna be playing with some simple colors and shapes to create these banners, so don't worry if you feel like you're not an expert at lettering or calligraphy. So the first few styles that we're gonna play around for our bullet journal headers and banners is really just to play around with a lot of simple colors and lines. So as you can see here, I'm gonna be using the same color and we're gonna mix and match a lot of the different styles together to create a lot of these different variations. And so as you can see here, feel free to mix and match the styles to be able to create your own title ideas as well. For example, you can definitely play around with where you want the colors to show up. You can have one variation where the color is in the middle of the title, or you can have another variation where everything is colored except the middle portion of the title. You can also play around with the size of your letters as well. You can have something that has a little bit more of a bold 3D effect, or you can stick with a simple monoline script where all of the letters have the same weight as if you were writing normally. Another thing that you can play around with when it comes to creating these bullet journal headers and banners is to play around with the symmetry in the title. So for example, you can have a title where it's completely symmetrical and you have the same drawing or design on each side of the title, or you can create something fun and asymmetrical when one is longer or shorter than the other. For the next set of bullet journal headers and banners, we're gonna be focusing on using a lot of simple shapes to create these designs. And so you can definitely play around with a lot of circles, hearts, squares, rectangles, or even triangles to create these title ideas. So as you can see here, I created some circles, I created some with squares and even hearts, and you can definitely play around with how you want to color these shapes as well. You can also add a little bit more personality to your titles by adding even more shapes dangling from the other shapes. For the next set of bullet journal headers and title ideas, we're really going to be playing around with different styles of banners. So the first couple of banners are going to be asymmetrical, and so as you can see, you can have one side that is kind of pointed as a triangle and have the rest kind of flow out as a banner. You can also create more folds or have something wavy like a flag to play around with it as well. And of course, you can also play around with the size. You can have something that is very cute and small or something that is pretty long as well. Another way that you can play around with the banners is to play around with how many letters that you are including in the banners. For example, you can create one where the whole word is included in one banner, or you can play around with another style where there's only one letter in each flag of the banner. Another way that you can add some variety to these banners is to change the shape of each flag. So for example, you can have a shape where one of the end is pointy, or you can have a shape where it's a triangle, or you can also use rectangles to play around with these banners as well. Another way that you can also play around with the banners is to include a lot of different folds in the banner. So in this example, you will see one of them only has one fold, but the other one has a lot of different layers and folds to the banners as well. If you're also more adventurous, you can also experiment with adding a lot of different colors to each fold of the banner. Another way that you can add a lot of fun and personality to your banners is to add a little bit of curves and not always stick to the rigid rectangles. So as you can see here, you can also play around with the curves, and you can also play around with where the other two shorter parts of the banner show up to give it more of a 3D effect. You can also play around with the ends of the banners to make it look like it was a scroll that is being opened. I wasn't able to fit this banner idea along with the other banners on the previous page, but another way that you can play around with this design is to adjust the amount of spirals or layers for the banner. So in this case, we're gonna add a banner with 2 spirals on it. For the next set of bullet journal headers and banner ideas, we're gonna be playing around with different speech bubbles. And so as you can see here, they're all very simple, but you can play around with the shape of the speech bubble, and you can also play around with whether you want it to be horizontal or vertical. The next set of bullet journal header ideas that you can try is actually something that I use the most often, and it's gonna be notepads inspired. So imagine just doodling a lot of notepads or sticky notes into your bullet journal, and you can definitely play around with the different shapes of the pins, the different tapes, or the different types of papers that you want to draw for these notepad designs. This is definitely my favorite style because I find that it's so versatile. You can adjust the shape of the paper to be as small or as big as you want for any of those longer titles as well. There's also so much different varieties so that you can draw a bunch of these next to each other without it looking too repetitive. And let me know in the comments down below, are you someone that likes to switch up your bullet journal headers pretty often, or are you someone that likes to stick with the same style over and over again? And for the next set of bullet journal headers, we're going to be focusing on more fun shapes and doodles. So as you can see here, I drew one with a little cloud. You can even have a shooting star or a little paper plane with the little words flying out of its trail as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As you could see, these bullet journal headers and banners doesn't have to be difficult for it to look stunning. I hope these were able to give you a lot of inspiration for your own bullet journal as well, and I hope to see you in another one of my videos.